Hi, I'm Adam and I'm 25 years old. I'm currently working as an assistant district attorney. I went to law school after I completed my high school. Right after law school, I aced the bar exam and started practicing law. When I was 18, I was told that I had lost both of my parents in a house fire. That wasn't the truth. I did remember glimpses of back when I was little and also a bit about a fire breaking out, but I didn't properly remember the faces of my real parents. After the house fire, I shuffled around some foster homes until I was finally adopted by a loving family. My adoptive dad and mom, Jack and Ellen, took care of me like their own, and I'll forever be grateful for that. Over time, I forgot about my real parents and I used to think that Jack and Ellen were my real parents. On my 14th birthday, they told me that they had adopted me and my parents passed away in a house fire. I was shocked to hear this. Imagine telling a 14-year-old that he was adopted when all his life, he believed that the people who adopted him were his real parents. I was furious after I got to know the truth, and I was mad at them for not telling me this before. I lashed out at them. We want to talk to you about something important, son. And we want you to listen very closely. Why are you guys acting so weird? What is it? We wanted to tell you this before, but you were too young to understand, and we think that now is the right time for you to know. Your mother and I decided that we'll keep it to ourselves and not tell you about this until you turn 14. Stop with all the drama, will ya? What is it? Just tell me. We are not your real parents, Adam. You're adopted. Ha ha, funny. This is not a joke, Adam. Who put you up to this? This is a prank, right? Where's the camera? This is not a prank, and we're not joking. What? Are you guys serious? Yes, sweetheart. We didn't tell you this before because we were trying to protect you. Protect me from what? The burden of truth. Listen to me, son. When you were 6, a fire broke out at your house, and your real parents passed away in that fire. You were sent to different foster homes, and then you ended up here. We were your foster parents, and we decided to adopt you. What are you talking about? I don't understand. I know it's a lot to take in, but this is the truth. Why didn't you tell me this before? I'm adopted? You've been lying to me my whole life? We did it for you, son. You were too young to understand. And who decided that? You or her? You're not even my real dad, and I call you mom? I now feel like I don't even know who you guys are. Watch your mouth, young man. We're not your biological parents, but Ellen here has always been your mom, and she took care of you like a mother. Mother? Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter to us if you're adopted. You're our son, and that's it. Your being adopted doesn't change anything. We'll always love you, son. I hate you guys. I don't want to see your face ever again. Adam, sweetheart, wait. Let him go. Give him some space and let him process all of this himself. I heard Dad telling my mom this while I dashed off to my room crying. Even though Ellen and Jack are not my real parents, I still call them Dad and Mom. I went to my room and cried for an hour straight. I was just 14 years old, and it was a lot to process. An hour later, Mom came upstairs to my room. She brought a piece of my birthday cake on a plate for me. She gently patted my shoulder and saw me crying. She hugged me, and I hugged her back. I was furious before, but now, I was in my senses. While I was hugging Mom, I looked up and saw Dad, standing at the door. He nodded at me. I went up to him and he hugged me. And then he said some things that I could never forget. Listen, son, I know this is hard for you, but we know you're old enough to understand that we did what we did only for you. Yes, Dad. And I never want you to think that you're not our son. You're the best son we could have had, and the Lord sent you to us for a reason. I'm really sorry, Dad. It's okay, son. I still remember when you first came to our house. You had just turned 7. You were so little and scared to see new people around you. Your mom called you, and you hesitantly went up to her. She did her candy from the ear magic trick for you for the first time, and your eyes lit up. You were amazed to see a candy appear from your ear. I couldn't figure out how she did that till I was 10. Well, she was pretty good at it. You took the candy and your mom hugged you. Her eyes were full of tears, but she tried her best not to let you see her cry. We put some cartoons on TV and ordered 4 different kinds of pizzas. We didn't know what you liked, and you were not ready to tell us. You had a bite of all 4 pizzas, and you loved the chicken sausage one the most. Ever since then, we knew that you loved chicken sausage pizzas. I do love it. Your mom couldn't take her eyes off you. That's when we decided that we were going to adopt you. But how did I not know anything about being adopted? I mean, the neighbors, Aunt Shirley, Grandpa, and Grandma must have known about this. Nobody ever told me anything about this. When we adopted you, we had a party at our house. We called everyone, the neighbors, relatives, and everyone close to us. You were playing with your cousin in another room. That's when we told everybody that we were going to adopt you, and we requested everyone to keep it a secret. We told them that we would let you know about the truth when the time came, and everybody respected our request. Well, they all did a pretty good job there, I must say. Everybody loves you so much, Adam. You being adopted doesn't matter to anyone. You're our son, and you'll always be our son. I love you, Dad. I love you too, son. I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart. And since it's your birthday, we've ordered chicken sausage pizzas with extra cheese, fries, Coke, garlic chicken wings, and double chocolate chip cookies. All your favorites. You're the best, Mom. We went downstairs and had food. After we had dessert, Mom and Dad gave me a present. It was the PlayStation 4, which was just released last year. I loved the present. It was one of the best days of my life. Dad and I used to play the PlayStation 4 all the time. Give a 14-year-old the latest PlayStation, and he'll forget about all the bad things in the world. Time went by and everything was okay. It never really bothered me that I was not the real son, because they never made me feel that way. But I did wonder sometimes who my parents were and what they looked like. When I was 18, I graduated high school. I had a keen interest in studying law, and I wanted to go to law college. As we were celebrating my high school graduation at home, Dad told me that he wanted me to meet someone. I said, okay. He yelled, "You can come in now." And I saw a strange man coming into our house. I looked at my father, and he looked back at me. He slowly blinked while nodding his head. I went up to the man. "You must be Adam. You've grown so much. It's so good to see you again. I'm sorry, but who are you? I don't know how to say this, but I'm your uncle, Jerry." "My uncle?" "Yes, your uncle. I'm your mother's younger brother." "Mom? You never told me you had a younger brother." "I don't." "Then who is this man?" "I'm your real mother's brother. Your real uncle." "What? My real uncle?" "Yeah. What are you talking about? I know it's hard to understand, and I'll tell you everything. I just want you to listen, stay calm, and try to understand." "Understand what?" "Dad, what is this man talking about?" "I think you should listen to what he has to say. He has news about your real mother and father." "My real mom and dad? What is it?" "I know you've been told that your parents passed away in a house fire, but that's not true." "Not true? What do you mean not true?" "A fire did break out, but the house fire from 12 years ago was not an accident." "Not an accident? I don't understand." "Nah, I want you to listen to me very closely, Adam. When you were 2, your real dad left you and your real mom. He never came back. Your mom was all alone, and she didn't have a job. Her name is Sally. She started working in cafes and pubs to make ends meet, but that wasn't enough. I was a window cleaner back then. I didn't earn much, but I helped your mom financially as much as I could. Sally met someone in the pub she used to work in and started dating him. He was not a good guy. He got her indulged in substance abuse, and your mom, she became an alcoholic." "What? My real mom was an alcoholic?" "Yep, she became one. One day she left you in my house, telling me to take care of you for a couple of hours. The next thing I see on the news is that there was a fire that broke out at your house. I went there as soon as I could, and Sally was standing outside, right beside an ambulance. There were no casualties." "What? She survived? Does that mean my real mom is still alive?" "Yeah, she is." "Where is she? Where can I find her?" "Hold on, Adam. I want you to hear the rest of it, and then make a decision." "I'm listening." "After about 6 months, it was found that your mom had intentionally set fire to the house to claim home insurance. When she realized that the insurance company had found out about all this, she ran away." "She intentionally set fire to our house for money? How could she do that?" "She was so addicted to the substance abuse that she crossed the line to get money for it." "Mom, Dad, why didn't you tell me about all of this before?" "They didn't know, Adam, just like you. I met them a few months ago and told them everything." "Is this the truth, Dad?" "Yes, it is. He showed us pictures of you when you were little. and we called the foster care to confirm. They confirmed that he was the one who put you up for foster care. He is telling the truth, son. Why didn't you ever come to meet me? To check up on me? How could you abandon your nephew? I know you're upset, Adam, but I had no choice. I tried to keep you with me, but the child care services forced me to put you up for foster care. I was just a window cleaner, living in a cheap apartment back then. I couldn't handle my own expenses, let alone raise a child all by myself. What about after I was adopted? You could have come to us to tell us the truth then. I tried to, but I just couldn't do it. You were too young to understand. I didn't want you to carry the burden of the truth about your mom setting her house on fire for money and abandoning you. How could you? Son, before you get mad and say something harsh to Jerry, I want you to know that anybody else who cared about his nephew would have done the same thing. You've just turned 18. You've just become an adult now. Jerry has been waiting for you to turn 18 to tell you the truth, and someday you'll be wise enough to understand and realize that sometimes it's better to wait for the time to be right. I know what you're trying to say, Dad, but I'm angry. How could my mother, and how could you? Please leave my house right now. But Adam, please leave our house now. Sweetheart, maybe you should... It's okay, Ellen. I can understand it's a lot to take in. I'll leave for now. And Adam, I shared my phone number with Jack. You can call me when you're ready to talk. Thank you, Jack and Ellen, for everything. I'll leave now. You take care. Jerry left the house and I was furious. I wasn't able to think straight. I felt like crying, so I ran off to my room. Mom and Dad didn't try to stop me. They let me go to my room and think about it. A couple of hours later, Mom called me for dinner and I told her that I'd eat when I felt hungry. Usually, Mom tries 3 to 4 times before giving up, but that day, she didn't try again. I guess she understood that I needed some time alone to think about everything that had happened. A couple of hours later, I felt hungry. I sneaked into the kitchen when Mom and Dad dozed off and saw a plate kept on the table covered with another plate, and there was a note with something written on it. I read the note and it said, "The food is in the fridge." And we know a lot of things happen, and it's a lot to take in, but I hope you haven't forgotten. You've graduated high school today. Congratulations. We're so proud of you. Love, Mom and Dad. I removed the cover plate and found a piece of my favorite chocolate cake and some double chocolate chip cookies. I almost cried looking at all of this. Even though a lot had happened today, Mom and Dad didn't forget to get me my favorite dessert to celebrate my high school graduation. I took the food out of the fridge, put it in the oven to heat it up, and ate it along with the dessert. The next day, I went up to my mom and hugged her tight. She hugged me back, and then I went to my dad and told him that I wanted to talk to Jerry. He took out his phone and called Jerry. He told Jerry that I wanted to talk to him, and Jerry told us that he'd come to our house in an hour. An hour later, Jerry came with a box wrapped in wrapping paper. He came in and we all sat down in the living room. Before I start, here's a present for you for graduating high school. Take it. Thanks. Go ahead, open it. A watch? This is a family heirloom. This watch belonged to your great-grandfather. He was a World War II veteran. He gave it to my father, and my father gave it to me. I want you to have it. You've been so strong. I know your great-grandfather would have wanted you to have it. Thank you, Jerry. This means a lot. All right, so you wanted to talk? I want to know more about my mother. Okay, where was I? You told us that she ran away when she found out that the insurance company was after her wrongfully claiming the insurance. Yeah, ever since then, she's been on the run. But last year, Sally showed up at my house out of nowhere. She didn't look so well. She told me that she wanted to meet you, but I refused to tell her anything about you. Ever since then, she's been coming to my house every now and then, trying to convince me to tell her about you. She wants to meet me? Yeah, she does. But I wanted you to turn 18 before you knew the truth, so you could decide what you want to do about all this. I don't know what I want. I understand, Adam. You can take all the time in the world, and if you decide you never want to meet her, I'll never tell her about your whereabouts. I promise you this. And I also wanted to ask you for your forgiveness. I'm sorry for keeping you in the dark for so long. I would understand if you never want to meet me again. Just say the word, and I'll never come back here. It's okay, I forgive you, Jerry. I understand that there was nothing back then you could have possibly done to prevent the child care services from taking me away. And I also understand that you didn't show up until I was 18 to tell me the truth. Just like Mom and Dad waited for me to turn 14 to tell me I was adopted. I know you did all of this because you care about me. Thank you for understanding, Adam. I was so glad that Jack and Ellen here adopted you. They've raised you well. They love me, and I love them. Alright then, I shall leave now. If you happen to decide that you want to meet Sally, you can call me. And also, I would love it if you, Jack, and Ellen could come to my house sometime for dinner. I have a wife and a daughter. They'd love to meet all of you. We will, Jerry, someday. Alright, I'll go now. Jerry left the house. I told my mom and dad that I'd need some time to decide what I wanted to do, and they told me that I could take all the time in the world to figure it out. A couple of days went by and I still couldn't decide anything. One afternoon, my mom came to my room and sat beside me. She said, "I know you're confused and I understand. It's your call, sweetheart, and you can do whatever you feel like doing. But I think you should go and meet her once. You should know who your mother is and what kind of person she is. Although my heart doesn't want you to meet her, I know that you'll regret not meeting her someday. I just wanted to say that." Mom saying this to me was such a help. I was confused, but I could sense the wisdom in her words. I decided to meet her. I called Jerry and told her that I wanted to meet her. He gave me her address. I took the car and I went to the address. I entered an old, rusty neighborhood. I drove a little farther, and I saw the building where she lived. It was an old building. It looked like it would fall as soon as the first tremor of an earthquake hit it. I got out of the car and went inside. Her apartment was on the 4th floor. I took the stairs as the lift was not working. I reached outside her door. I took a deep breath and knocked. Nobody answered. I knocked again and a lady opened the door. Her cheeks were dry. She had dark circles below her eyes, and she looked very weak. I asked her if she was Sally, and she said yes. I told her that my name was Adam and I was her son. Her face went pale, and she stood there in silence for 2 minutes. I had to wave my hand in front of her face to bring her back to the real world. She told me to come in. I went in, and she told me to sit on the couch while she sat on the chair in front of it. "Can I get you something to eat? Although I don't have much in the house, I think I have some biscuits. Wait here, I'll get it for you." "It's all right, Sally, I'm not hungry." "You've grown so much." "Yeah, my adopted mother took good care of me after you abandoned me." "I'm sorry about everything, Adam." Jerry came to my house and told me everything. He told me how you set fire to our house to claim the insurance money. I wasn't in my senses back then. After your father left, I didn't know what to do. You had a kid, Sally. You had a kid who needed his mother. I know you're hurt, and I'm sorry about everything. Your sorry doesn't change anything. You kept your addiction above your child. You abandoned me as soon as you found out that the cops were after you. How could you do it? Did you not care about me at all? I was scared, Adam. I didn't know what else to do. You could have taken care of me. Jerry was there to help you. I didn't know if I could raise you alone all by myself. So you decided to leave me. A lot of single moms raise their kids. I would have helped you once I was old enough. You were not alone. I was also into some bad things back then. I was not the right person to raise you. Then who do you think was? Jerry? He used to clean windows for a living back then. How could he raise me all by himself? Child care services took me away and sent me to foster care. I lived in many foster homes before I was adopted by my mom and dad. Who's your mom? Does she take good care of you? She took care of me when you were not there. She loved me like her own child. She was there when I needed a mother. I wasn't sure if I wanted to meet you. She was the one who told me that I should go and meet you. She's a great woman, and I love her. I'm glad that you found a good home. You're glad that I found a good home? You know what? Coming here was a mistake. I'm leaving. Wait, I'm sorry, Adam. Please forgive me. I love you. Please don't leave me here. You don't love me. You just want me to come take care of you because you can't take care of yourself. You're still the same old selfish woman you were when you left me to save yourself. It's not like that. I really love you. I know you hate me, but I am your mother. I have a mother, and her name is Ellen. You're not my mother. You're a nobody. Please forgive me, son. I know you're upset, but I realize my mistake, and I am really sorry about it. Please forgive me. Give me one more chance to be your mother. Too late now. The son you had passed away long ago in the fire you broke out for money. I said this and I left. I got inside my car, and I didn't know what happened. I started crying. I cried hard. I cried for half an hour, and then I pulled myself together. I decided that she should pay for everything she had done, so I called the cops and told them that a fugitive of insurance fraud was hiding in the apartment. I told them the name, and they confirmed that an insurance fraud case was filed against a person of the same name 12 years ago. The cops came in and arrested her. I saw her getting arrested from my car, and it oddly felt good. It felt as if she was finally paying for all the wrongs she did. After the cops took her away, I went home. When I reached home, my mom came up to me. As soon as she saw my face, she knew that I had cried. She hugged me and I hugged her back. She asked me if I was okay, and I told her that she was the best mom in the world and that I loved her. A couple of days later, Sally was presented in the court and she was found guilty. She was sentenced to spend a few months behind bars. I told myself that it would give her some time to reflect on whatever she had done. She was in prison for a few months, and then she was released. 2 years later, when I was in law school, I got a call from Jerry. He told me that Sally was very sick, and the doctors said that she would leave us soon. I froze, even though I hated her. The news came to me like a shock. I didn't know what to do. I sat in the college park and thought about it for a while, and then I decided that I would go meet her. I took my car and drove to the hospital she was admitted to. I went to the help desk and asked the nurse about a patient named Sally, and she told me where she was. I went there and I found Jerry and his wife standing outside of the room. Jerry was happy to see me. He hugged me and told me that it was very kind of me to come here. He told me that Sally was very sick. Her past habit of substance abuse had caught her up. She hardly had a day or two left at most. I went inside the room and sat next to her. She saw me and smiled. "You came." "I'm here only because I didn't want to abandon you in your last moments, like you did when I was a kid." "I've done so many bad things in my life, but you know what I regret the most?" "What?" "Leaving you alone, all by yourself. I regret it every day. I regret that I couldn't see my boy grow up, and I'm happy that you found a mother like Ellen. She is the one worthy of being called a mom." "You should rest now. I came here to meet you one last time." "Thank you, Adam, for coming here. I hope I get to be your mother in the next life, and I'll try my best to be the mother you deserve. I am sorry about everything. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know that I am truly sorry." "I forgive you, Sally. You can rest now." "Thank you, Adam. Thank you, my sweet boy." And I left. Even though she had abandoned me, she was still the woman who gave me birth. I had a connection with her. And I realized Mom was right when she said I would have regretted it someday if I had never met her. As I came out, Jerry came up to me and told me that I was a good man. I thanked him for letting me know about my real mom. Sally passed away in a few hours after I met her. I felt bad when I heard the news. Jerry held a funeral for her at his home. Me, Dad, and Mom all went to the funeral. We reached the place and saw it was just Jerry's family and my family that was there. Sally had no one else. It has been 7 years since Sally passed away, and I sometimes think about her. I don't know what it is, but I sometimes wonder how life would have been if Sally had never abandoned me, or if I had never been adopted by Jack and Ellen. I guess I'll never know. But whenever I go home now, my mom tells me that she prays for Sally's soul to rest in peace. She tells me that she is grateful to Sally for bringing me into this world so she could have a son. And my dad tells me that I should not think ill of her now. She's gone, and I should respect her and keep her in my memories. Also, Jerry has become like a family member now. I visit his home sometimes with my mom and dad for Christmas and during get-togethers. His daughter is 6 years younger than me, and she wants to become a lawyer. I guide her and tell her how she can become a lawyer like me. I never knew my real mom and dad, but I do have a part of that family with me. Sally would have wanted me to be with her family, and Jerry and his family are lovely. They're a part of my family now. I'm glad that I was adopted by Jack and Ellen. I would have never made it if they didn't take care of me. They love me like their own, and I'll never be able to repay them back for everything they did for a scared little foster boy.